You're listening to a BGE podcast.
Friends and family gather round and fire up the barbecue. Let the smoke waft and float, that's what we're gonna do. You can't deny there's nothing like friends and family and food. Don't sit still, pull out your grill, we're gonna have a barbecue.
Welcome back to another episode of the Blind Grilling Experience. My name is Chris Peltz. I am the most interesting griller in the world. And we got a great episode for you today. Special guest Vince Sabras is going to be joining us, and we're going to talk about some great uses with the Flame Boss. I'm kind of surprised at what we're talking about today.
Fire up the barbecue.
All right, welcome back, folks. We appreciate everybody tuning in and listening to our podcast. And as I mentioned earlier, Vince is back with us. Brother, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Chris. How are you?
Yeah, man, doing great. If I was any better, I'd be twins, man. So,
Well, no one can handle two of you, Chris.
that's oh man, my wife is with you there. I'll tell you that. Oh, that's awesome.
Don't
That's
say
awesome.
the T word to my wife, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, Vince is, him and his wife expecting another one. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Congratulations again on that.
Well, thank you.
So, man, pretty soon you're going to have a whole baseball team running around your place, softball team.
Yeah, I'll stop when she tells me, I guess.
That's right. That's right. That's awesome. Well, hey, real quick, you didn't happen to bring that gift in with you, did you? Into the studio?
No, I threw that in my trunk.
You threw-
and
you already threw it in the car.
I should have
Okay.
brought it in. I haven't opened it, but
Yeah,
I
man.
figured I got to pop it in the fridge after I open it, right?
After you
I mean,
open it, yeah.
It'll be
yeah,
all right.
So
for
it'll be
a little
good.
while,
It'll
but-
be good. Yeah, Bruce listens, so Bruce sent you a little gift. I can't wait to, for you to share with him what you think and everything. And
I'm sure it's delicious. I don't know if it's
so-
enough for two people, though.
oh
But-
yeah, it'll be
you
enough
think
for
so?
two.
Oh,
It'll be
okay.
enough for two, no
Okay.
doubt about it. And so I'm gonna hold off sharing on everything that on what he sent because he sent it to me as well, and so I'll hold off on that for another podcast. But we both know Bruce. Bruce has been on a couple of podcasts now. We're involved in a little series on gardening and on canning, and it's just been really cool. And I'm learning a lot. I hope folks that are listening are learning a lot with it as well. But I wanted to talk to you, Vince, a little bit about some things for the kitchen, first of all, that I think makes life so much easier, especially with cleanup, that I've been using for several years. I got the idea from competition barbecuers that, things that they have and they take with them. And you're in the habit of using it as well. And that is disposable cutting boards.
Yes, they're great. I use them. I use them pretty often. Anytime I'm cooking several pieces of meat or big pieces of meat, or really just anything that I want to be able to throw away the mess. I mean,
Yeah.
I can't really fit a giant cutting board in my kitchen sink too well.
Yeah.
I think the ones I have, they're 18 by 11 inches or so, something like that.
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
have various sizes.
Yeah,
They got
yeah.
large ones, they got small ones, and but yeah, I mean they've got the nice big ones I like. And what's awesome is like within let's say a 1 inch thick box that they come in, there'll be 30, right? So it'll be a 22 by 20 square rectangle box,
Mhm.
right? That's an inch tall or inch thick, and they'll have, let's say, 30 of these disposable cutting boards in it. Now there are other sizes, there are other amounts that you can get. The ones that I get at the grill store is a box of 30. I think you order them by like 100 or something. Where you
I
get
do.
yours.
Well, so yeah, the ones I first bought them on Amazon as a box of 30 or 35 or whatever they put in that. And I got that box, and it has the cool little flap with the Velcro on it that
you can open it up, pull one out, and close it back.
Yeah, it had a carrying handle, but it broke. But I keep the box. I've kept the box the whole time, and I just refill it from a bulk I buy a box of 100 of them, and then just refill it every time I run out.
Yeah. And they're costing, I mean, when you buy them like you buy them, less than $1 a piece.
Yeah.
And even when I buy them at the grill store, it comes out to about $1 a piece. So, it's not something that's totally, just outrageously priced by any means.
No.
But what's so cool is you can fold up the edges, right? The edges, all around. So go completely around. You get this 1-inch lip that folds up. And anything you cut, whether it's uncooked foods, right, that you're working on, and then you can take and all your cuttings, everything you're not going to keep is all right there, still on the cutting board. It's you've folded up those edges so nothing is going to slide off the cutting board, and then you can just once you get what you're using off, roll it up and throw it away, especially if you had raw meat on it. But if you've cooked some, like we'll cook, when we cook brisket. And when I go, especially on catering jobs, but even here at the house, we'll pull out a disposable cutting board, fold up those edges, put the brisket on it, and slice that brisket, and it catches all those juices as well. And the way the corners, when you fold up those edges, the way those corners can kind of fold out, it make it easy to pour juice, right, that you may have collected as well. It could be a little bulky the bigger the cutting board, but it's still really, it just, you can just keep everything contained.
Now I'm going to admit something here, Chris.
Oh, okay. Oh no.
I wasn't aware that they're made to fold up the edges. So.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I fold them up when I dispose of everything, and I kind of like keep the juice on there, but I mean, I thought that ridge. I mean, there is a ridge around the edge. So I get it.
Ridge,
I get it.
Yes.
Yeah,
but it's small. I mean, we're talking like,
but the corners,
2 millimeters. Yeah.
So
when you fold those up along the front and then the edges and then the back, right, the two sides and the front and the back, right, and then the corners kind of pinch outwards and almost make like a little spout, so you can pour the juices.
All right, well, here's an alternative method. You could take half a roll of paper towels and surround the cutting board from when you're cutting something that's real big and juicy. And then you could throw the paper towels on top of the cutting board when you're done and stuff it all in the garbage can.
Oh wow. Here, and I've just been like, oh, cool, he's using the disposable cutting boards.
No,
we're
I'm
on
just
the same
lazy.
page. And we're... I mean, that's the whole point, is to contain the mess.
Well,
right?
I guess you had to read the manual or something.
This is great. Oh, dude, this is great. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. You got me, man. You got me on this. This is okay. So yeah, Vince, you can fold up those.
They should put arrows or dotted lines or something, like a really bold dotted line.
Right.
To fold there.
That is.
So you fold the edges. I was never good at origami, so
right. Yeah. Well, since that groove is there, like you're talking about, there's a little bit of a groove, so where it folds right there on that groove.
Yeah.
Right. It just folds up all the way around.
I mean, it makes sense now that I hear it, but I've never. I don't know. I guess I gotta watch more paper cutting board videos on YouTube or something.
Well, and here's something I remember. How long ago did we deliver the package to you? How long ago has that been? 3?
It was 2.5 years ago.
It was 2020.
Yeah, so it was November of 2020, so 2.5 years.
Yeah, when we delivered that and we did tri-tips, we used disposable cutting boards and we folded up the edges on
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Did that happen?
That happened.
They didn't get it on camera.
Yes, they did. Yeah, if they got you, we'll have to go back and watch the show.
I don't think they put any of the slicing footage in the show, if I remember.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's been a while since I watched the episode, but
okay. All right.
I don't think they put slicing footage in there. I don't even think they put the tri-tip in there, did they? I don't think so. Like we didn't.
I don't know.
Like a lot of the cook stuff didn't actually make the episode, I think.
Right.
But,
right.
Yeah.
There
was so much going on.
That's true. That's true.
Focused on being a star.
Well, I know we did it. I don't know if it's in the.
We probably did.
I
mean, I believe you.
I know we did it. Yeah.
I believe you. My wife would probably I knew that's how you're supposed to be using them. But she didn't, tell me about it. Just like
Oh man, I'm like crying over here, dude. This is great. This is great stuff. Um,
I wish I felt confident that this was the first time I heard about folding the edges. I don't even know anymore.
oh
But
man, and well, I don't think it's anything other than that particular time when we made that delivery. So 2.5 years ago, I don't think there would be any other time I would have thought to say anything to you about it.
no,
I
because I
just-
think any other time you've come over
Mhm.
was after I cooked, I think.
Yeah, dude, your cleanup is gonna be even better, even better now.
The edges don't get in the way of your knife.
That's right. No, I mean, no, not with that size. Of
If you're
cutting board,
using a
not at all.
12-inch brisket knife
Oh, no problem.
and you have those edges folded up,
No problem.
really?
Yeah, no problem.
Hmm.
No problem at all. Yeah.
How
dude,
is that
it's-
possible?
Yeah. I'll have to show you.
Because the cutting
I'll have
board.
to take it to show you.
Well, yeah. So.
Yeah, it's yeah, just do it. Because even if the knife hits those edges are folded up, even if they get knocked, just they'll kind of get out of the way of the knife themselves.
I don't even see people do that in videos. I mean, if they use a cutting board.
Yeah. It's yeah.
All right. So it's like a cambro
Oh.
kind of where, because can't you slice in a cambro?
No.
I thought you could.
Uh-uh.
They have the one where the sides collapse, right? And then it's a cutting board.
I don't know about that.
I thought that's what a cambro
I don't know.
did.
No, well, now there is a carrying like a rubber tub that has a cutting board for a base, and the sides kind of collapse
that's not a
down.
cambro?
No, that's not a cambro. A cambro is for
Cambro,
keeping
sorry.
things warm, right? It's like
Okay.
a cooler that you put meat in to keep it warm.
Uh-huh.
And they have commercial ones where you can open up a door and slide your containers in, your full pans, half pans, or like I've got one with a lid on top. You open it up, and then your full pans or half pan just kind of slide down into it and stack them. But no, you don't slice in a cambro. That is just a cutting board that has collapsible sides that you can you could have. Excuse me. Also has a lid you can put on it, and then take your dish somewhere close, I would say,
Mhm.
because it's not going to maintain heat. But it's got the silicone sides that pop up and collapse down, and just it makes it easy for slicing and keeping and containing juices and all that. But no, that's not a cambro. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, all right. So I guess back to the cutting boards then. So my wife told me that your wife gave her the tip of, well, she cuts them in half, right? If you don't need the whole thing, if you're just doing, I don't know, tri-tip, but then you can't catch your juices.
well, I don't think she cuts it in half when she does vegetables. Only when she does vegetables. She doesn't do it with meat because of all the juices. So if she only
Okay.
needs part of one to do, onions, peppers, and things like that. But for someone who's blind or visually impaired, I recommend first of all, you can get a smaller disposable cutting board. Fold up the sides. That way, when you're cutting, the onion and you take your knife, you get some dices, and you take your knife and slide it over. You're not going to slide it off the cutting board and onto your counter or island or whatever. It's going to stay, on the cutting board. The edges will keep it contained.
And your vegetables don't roll away. or
exactly.
fly away. Hey,
Yeah, your vegetables won't roll away. Yeah, man.
it's always happening to me. My daughter likes cucumbers and
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
slice them up
yeah.
for her. And they roll
Right,
away.
right. Yeah. So now, so you're gonna have to start folding up your sides so your
Yeah.
things don't roll away. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Okay.
Oh man, this has been good. Man, and just to think, I thought before we started this might be the worst episode, and now I think it's gonna be the best.
Well,
No, I'm just, I'm kidding.
no.
That's awesome.
That's a fair assessment, Chris. That's the best episode. So
That's right. Yeah, man, this is awesome.
I do like paper cutting boards though.
Absolutely, yeah. And now you say paper. I don't
Okay.
think they're paper.
Well, aren't they paper? I mean,
Well,
it's like
it's
a coated paper.
Yeah, maybe.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
That we'll have to look
whatever
at.
the
That
cut,
we'll have to
the
look at.
cut and toss brand
Yeah.
cutting boards.
Okay.
If I could afford to use them, all the time,
Mhm.
I'd use them
So that's the
a lot
brand
more
you use,
stuff.
Cut and Toss.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I
cut
mean, I
and
thought
toss.
they were paper. They fold.
Well, yeah, you can roll them up, but they're
Sure.
but it's a little bit firmer, right? And it's got a coating on one side.
Yeah.
So
I
you
mean,
can
it's
cut,
not
so
like
you're not slicing through it. So it's not like
yeah. If they get wet, they're not gonna get soaked. I mean,
exactly
it doesn't absorb liquid. but
right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It does have a coating on it, but
Exactly.
I thought they were called paper cutting boards. I don't know.
Disposable is all I've ever known them by, not paper.
Okay.
But that'd be weird. Paper? Yeah,
I
because the
thought that was
juices-
what you said when you gave me the package. That you were
yeah,
telling
but
me
you
how to
also
cut on a
don't
paper
remember
cutting
me
board.
telling you to fold up the
I know.
sides. So now
Wow.
you're just making stuff up.
Yeah, probably.
Oh,
I don't
man.
do that, Chris.
No, of course not. Of course not. All right, folks. So trust me, especially when you use them the right way, disposable cutting boards are indisposable when it comes to a blind kitchen. All right. I mean, they make life so much easier. They make cleanup so much better, easier, faster. They can contain so much of what you're doing, the juices of a cook or, of vegetables from rolling away if you fold up the sides. So that is definitely one of the things if I recommend that you have in your kitchen. And even get the small ones at first, if you want to just check them out and see what they're about. Get the small ones. You can kind of tell the difference. You can feel the glossy side as opposed to the flat side. There's a little slight difference to the feel of them. The glossy side, I believe, is facing up, and that's going to have the protecting where you can be able to slice your meat and everything. But even if you had them upside down, you're not going to cut through it. First of all, so it'll work the same way, but I believe it's intended for the glossy side to be up.
Yeah, I'm using some of the sharpest knives you can buy on them, and they don't cut through those things. So
yeah, absolutely, yeah. Because we've got the Schoon, and I've got some Schoon and Wusthof and a couple of others. I think you've got another type of knife as well. I know you got the Schoon.
I think mine are all Schoon. I
Okay.
have the I use a lot of times the 10-inch chef's knife or the brisket knife or
Yeah. So, and not only with these cutting boards, disposable cutting boards, but I think I've said it before. A sharp knife is a safe knife, right? A dull knife is one of the most unsafe things you can have in your kitchen. So make sure when you have a knife that it is a sharp knife, so it'll do the job it's intended to do, and it'll be much safer for you. So. All right, Vince. Well, let's we're going to come back here in just a second, and we're going to talk about the Flame Boss. I want to get into this because something you're doing with the Flame Boss kind of blew me away, and we'll see if you can convince me to do it.
All right, Chris. Sounds good.
Kickashbasket.com. Check out kickashbasket.com and tell them Blind Grillin' sent you. Check out the charcoal management baskets that they have for all your grills. They've got them for the Kamadou style. They've got them for the Weber. They've got them for the PK 360. They have ash cans. They have gloves that are just awesome for taking off hot pots and pans and cast iron, whether it's in the house or out at the grill. They've got some great accessories, not just from Kickash Basket, but from JJ George and others. And Kickash Basket also has some rubs and things on their website that you can check out, and you will not be disappointed. Again, go to kickashbasket.com and tell them Blind Grillin' sent you. So, Vince, when we talk about the Flame Boss, of course, we're talking about the controller that's accessible, that we can connect to the bottom vent of our Big Green Egg. Of course, they make them for other, they connect to just about any ceramic grill, but they also make a universal mount, so it'll connect to other grills as well.
Mm-hmm.
But we use them to control our fire, the oxygen going to the flame because we're cooking with charcoal. But we can set the temp, and the fan helps control the temp. And we can also, monitor our meat temp with the meat probe. And so they're just an awesome tool, right? So, I've done several cooks here recently where, I've had the flame boss set at 300 for my rib cook. I had it set at 275 for a brisket cook and a chuck roast cook. But then I did it at 400 when I did some salmon, right? And just and kept that grill setting straight at 400. And when I did the wild turkey breast that I mentioned a little over a week ago, or last week anyway, we did that at 400, and I had the flame boss, right? I set it to that particular temp, and it kept it there. It was just, the Flame Boss is just awesome. They're an awesome company, awesome folks. It's accessible for the blind. The Flame Boss 400, when you get it in the mail, someone who's totally, completely blind can set it up themselves using the app and just plugging it in, and just it's just awesome. It's just wonderful, wonderful product.
Yes, it's great. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, you've been using it for 2.5 years now.
Yeah. I've used it in all sorts of applications, and no, I mean, if you have any lack of confidence, I guess, of being able to control a grill, or if you can't see the thermometers, which they're pretty important.
Sure.
Yeah, it works. I mean, I like it because I can't just sit by the egg and make sure everything's going okay, or I set it and I can go do other things.
Right.
I have to.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I like it because it's accessible, and like you said, it's super easy to set up.
Right.
Both initially, and once you get that initial setup, you don't have to do it again ever. I mean, all you have to do is hook it up to, you put in the little plate and hang it on the
on the
vent.
bottom vent. Yeah. Plug it in.
Plug your probes
right.
in. And
Put your probe up in the upper dome, and then your meat probes if you want the meat probe if you want that, and go from there. And here's what's really cool. Again, the variation of temps that you can control your grill at, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But there's two things that I want to talk about with cooks, because I have a couple of questions for you that I think I know the answer to, but it's going to not only be a testament to the Flame Boss, but I think a testament to the Big Green Egg as well. So first of all, you did a brisket cook,
Mm-hmm.
all right? And so just initially, what did you set your grill at for the cook itself?
So I've done this a couple, I think 2 or 3 times now, and I've done it a little different each time. I'm just kind of working with the method that I saw, but I think the first time I did it, I went 225 to cook my brisket, which I don't usually do.
Yeah.
But I was just going for, I was trying to time it with how long I thought it would take to cook at 225, how long I wanted to rest it, and when I thought we would eat. So that was probably, that was the first one, I think. And then I probably went back to 250, 275 like I normally cook at, I think.
Okay. So 250 to 275. And you bring the brisket to a certain temp, internal temp, right?
Yes.
First of all, do you wrap?
I have been not wrapping.
You've been not wrapping? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say, all right, if you're using this method, so there's 2 parts to this. There's the cook time, and then there's the hold time.
The hold is what I'm going to get to in a minute. We're working our way to that.
Sure. Okay.
But
During the cook, no,
the
I
cook.
have not wrapped.
Okay.
I tend to not wrap.
And what internal temp do you bring the brisket up to?
I guess depending on what my pit temp is set at, I would shoot for 170 to 190. The hotter the pit, the lower internal I'd probably shoot for. The goal is to try to get it to peak at around 190. Okay,
so you're looking for an internal temp on your brisket of let's say 190.
Yeah.
Internal temp. Okay. Now that, to me that's kind of crazy, but I know we're going somewhere with this, so it's all good.
Mm-hmm.
But because I'm shooting for an internal temp of 203, right, and then probe tender. and then I take it off the grill and I rest it in a Cambro.
That's
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So that's my, or in a cooler or a Cambro, either way.
And that's probably
Most
one of
common.
the most common. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the most common method. But you've been doing
Not a bad
something.
one either, but
Absolutely not. Yeah. Thanks. Appreciate that. Yeah. But so you bring your brisket up to 190.
yes.
Right. And then you adjust your Flame Boss temp. Now, sometimes you've wrapped and you've not wrapped on this, and this is what you call the hold, right?
Yes.
All right. So you can wrap or not wrap. You're still experimenting. So maybe after a few runs both ways, and you determine which way you're going to try to do it consistently, we'll have you back on. But I wanted to go ahead and talk about this because this blew me away. What do you drop the temp to?
All right. So I drop it to 150.
Okay, so you drop the pit temp
Yes.
with using the Flame Boss, the fan controller down to 150 degrees,
Mm-hmm.
and that's gonna hold your brisket on your grill, right?
Mm-hmm.
For how long?
Oh, 12 to 18 hours, something like that. Yeah.
I mean, I know guys that
I
are
usually shoot
cooking
for about
12 to 18
15
hours, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some guys, if you do it at 225 the whole way,
Mhm.
and it's a big enough brisket, you might wind up cooking that for
Yeah.
over 12 hours. Sure.
And so, but and this turned out great, right? I mean, you pulled that off, let's say after 15 hours, and I mean, your brisket was exactly what you wanted, right?
Yes, I did it. The first time was, I think, Thanksgiving, because my mom had given me a brisket, and she asked me to cook it, and because I told her I didn't want to do turkey this year, and so I made that for Thanksgiving. That one, I think, the entire from start of the cook to end of the hold was about 22, 23 hours. And it was great. Yeah. I mean, what you get is a little bit firmer body to the meat, where if you were to cook it to 203 or more, and then pull it, wrap it, stick it in a cooler, and let it set for.
Yeah, I do about 6 hours if I can.
Yeah,
sometimes
I
a little
would say
less,
2 to whenever.
Yeah,
hours.
2 hours to 6 to sometimes 8, but no more than that generally, and it does great.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But going up to that 203, you get a more of a fall apart texture, I think. Where
you do, yeah.
if you take it to 190 and then pull it. Now there's different ways. I can get into all that later, but the result is that you have if you took a slice of brisket and you go to pull it apart, it's still going to pull apart, but it's not going to fall apart.
Yeah,
it'll
almost kind of bounce back a little bit when you're
Yes.
pulling it apart. When it finally breaks apart, the two pieces kind of bounce back to to themselves.
Yeah, so you have a little more body, like you're biting into a steak. I say like you're biting into a steak.
Yeah.
A extremely tender
Yeah,
steak.
Right.
But
yeah.
not that like a roast
Yeah.
texture that you would get if you were to
Gotcha.
cook it up to 203 or higher.
Right. Yeah. And so here's so that's intriguing, I will say. And what's cool about that for folks that are thinking about the flame, what's really the benefit of a Flame Boss? I'm going to lay this out for you with that knowledge of what we've just mentioned, what we've talked about. Let's say you get your grill fired up one morning, you got to go to work, and you get the Flame Boss set up, and you're going to cook a pork butt, you're going to cook a brisket. You've got a long cook, but it's going to be, let's say, an 8-hour cook generally, but you're going to be gone 10 hours. Okay. One thing that's awesome about the Flame Boss is you can, from your phone, even when you leave home, you can check that Flame Boss while you're at work, and you can make adjustments. You can see what the temperature of your internal the meat, if you got a meat probe in it, you can, follow the temperature of your pit, make sure it's all remaining steady and it's doing its job. Not only that, but Vince, you can, so you're shooting for 190. You can actually set the flame boss. When the meat hits 190, it automatically drops the pit temp down to 150.
Yes, it's important to know that the hold temp setting, although you enter it under the meat temperature settings, that hold temp is for the pit temp. So
Yeah.
It's not gonna be like keep your meat at this temperature and
Right.
So you have to be able to calculate, what that difference might be. Yes, it'll drop the pit, and depending on how you lit your fire, it might drop pretty quickly. Sometimes I have a tendency, due to being impatient, waiting for it to get hot. Initially, when I'm starting a cook, is I just overlight the coals.
Okay.
And then dropping it down can take longer.
Gotcha.
But if you just light it the proper way, where you just light the top of the coals in the middle, and let that fire
come up to temp.
Yeah. Then it would drop down pretty quickly, especially I want to say if it's cold outside, but the last time I did this, it went down quicker than I expected it to.
Okay.
And I kind of my internal temp target was something like 175, and then I started slowing it down. It was 170 or 175, and then it slowed down. I mean, it cooled down well before I got to that 190 internal temp. So I wound up with it a little bit more.
Done.
I don't want to say tough.
Or tough,
but,
not as done. Yeah.
I mean, it was a
I
great
gotcha.
texture still.
Mhm.
It was a little firmer than what I was shooting for.
I got you.
But it worked well with the things I was using it for.
So that's gonna so that's really cool that you can do that with the Flame Boss. It has that type of versatility, that type of control, right?
Yeah.
Which is so cool.
It is cool. I mean, I guess you would have to. You want to make sure that your fire doesn't go out, for one. So you want to, I wouldn't start a cook and put it at 150. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I would always get it hotter and then go down low. I mean, it can go as low as 100 degrees. At least that's what the settings allow. I think. When you
that's
first,
a change, because Flame Boss used to be
it used to be 150 to 350 or 400. Now
450, I think. But
now it's 450. Was it always 450? I don't know.
I think so. At least that was the range anyway that they recommend. No more than that for the
it won't
pit
let you
probe
set
itself.
it higher than 450. But
yeah.
I've had it go. It used to be you can only go down to 150. Now it's 100.
Okay.
So I've wanted to try smoking cheese with it. I didn't do that this past winter, but I guess if I were going to do that, I would take it hotter and then let it cool down to the temperature that I want it, and so it'll have an easier time maintaining a fire at that temperature. Because if you just start a fire and put it at 100 or 150, I would think that it's not that fan. It's not going to do enough to keep that fire going.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong. If someone has successfully done that, I want to hear about it. But,
I'm sure if that's what they're, they set it because they think it can do it. So, I'm sure that's why they allow that to happen, because they think it'll work that way.
Could be, yeah.
All right. So with that said, I got another question for you. And we haven't talked about this. I have no idea what the answer to this question is going to be, which can be dangerous. The egg, right? You're using a large big green egg.
Uh-huh.
All right, so you did a cook then, a brisket cook that took you 22 to 24, 25 hours.
Yeah, I did one longer than that too.
Okay. Did you ever have to add charcoal?
No. That's the great thing.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what I thought the answer would be, but I didn't know because I never asked you before. And that's, granted 150, that's not going to hardly burn up any charcoal at all.
No. I mean,
right?
especially if you're using a good high quality charcoal that that will just kind of smolder and
right.
Not smolder, because there is flame. I mean,
Yeah, but that dense charcoal like
It'll burn
Fogo
so
or something like
slow.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It really will. It takes a long time to burn through. And so here you were doing these cooks continuous, right? Not like shutting it down, lighting it back up, shutting down, lighting it back up. I mean, you're doing a continuous over 20-hour cook and never adding charcoal.
New Year's Eve, I did a brisket, and I used this method, and I think I started it at 225 then too. Looking at my chart on Flame Boss, the temperature looks like it was all over the place. I would have to take time to analyze it to be able to say exactly what I did there. But my in-laws were visiting for New Year's Day, and they got here, and then they gave my kids some gifts, and we did gifts, New Year's gifts, because I don't know, that's what we do in our house.
Yeah, sure.
And there was they got them this big thing that needed to be assembled, and then after that they wanted to check into their hotel. So we wound up eating pretty late. It was later than I expected we'd eat. So I just had the brisket sitting on the egg. I started it New Year's Eve. Got up in the morning. I didn't get up super early because of the way. One thing I like about this cook is I don't have to get up early in the morning to. If I start it at a, middle of the morning, and then it's ready for lunch the next day, or it could have been.
Yeah.
But this particular day, we didn't wind up eating until like 7 p.m. So the whole cook and hold was like 33 hours, right? When I started it, I have a large egg.
Right.
I filled up to just about the fire ring with charcoal. I left enough room to put lump wood in there.
Yeah.
So a little under the fire ring, the top of the fire ring, and I cooked it, I held it, I took it off. Next time I went, when I went to clean out the charcoal basket, I still had more than the Kickash basket full of charcoal in there. So,
Yeah. Wow.
The coals were turning white, some of them, but
yeah, sure.
so they'd probably burn a little quicker. But no, I had a lot of charcoal left. So
yeah, and that just goes to show you how efficient these big green eggs and ceramic grills. The main three, right? Your big green egg, of course, your Primo and your KJ. Those three I know are gonna be that efficient, and obviously we're using big green eggs, so that's just awesome. That's just
Well, and the Flame Boss too.
Oh yeah.
No, they are really, really efficient grills.
Sure.
Not to take anything away from them, but you see, controllers are common now on grills, or becoming common. And some of these controllers have algorithms where they show a flat line of temperature when there's some variation, kind of like your oven. If you set your oven, most ovens you set them to a temperature, and it's not actually
steady
always
at that.
at
It's
that
fluctuation
temperature.
up and down a little bit.
And that flame's going to kick on and off and on and off. And granted, there's a fan that's going to kick on and off with the Flame Boss, but you can watch the Flame Boss, and if your temperature varies a degree, it's going to show that change.
Right.
There's not an algorithm that's going to show you a steady temperature when there's not a steady temperature. It will hold steady, but that's also because of the grill it's connected to.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I've had plenty of cooks where it's just a steady line.
And it's a variable speed, so it's not even just an off or on fan.
Right, yeah.
It's a variable speed, so it might run at 1%
or 100,
up to 100%, and in any increment in between, to maintain the temp that you've set it at. So it's the technology is just awesome.
Yeah, you can get a lot
cool.
of less expensive controllers, but they're not going to do what this one does.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So.
Yeah, and there's more expensive ones.
Sure, probably,
that still won't do some of the things this does.
I believe
but
it.
and in part, the fact that it is completely accessible, and they've made it a point to not only make it that way and keep it that way. So,
and they have great customer service too.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely, they sure do. And again, it's a testament not only to the Flame Boss, but to the Big Green Egg itself, being able to hold charcoal that long. And like you said, even after a 30-hour cook, you're opening up the egg, and rather than adding more charcoal to it, your next cook, you're just relighting what's in there and
much,
going at with it. So
Yeah.
that's just, I love these cookers so much, and it's just so versatile, because not only can you do the briskets in these long cooks like that, I can do briskets much shorter, which I personally prefer, but it's just cool, right? I mean, that's just, if that's what somebody wants to do, and then more power to you. That's the great thing about barbecue.
Well, you have an XL, Chris, right? So you can fit 2 briskets. You could take one off at the normal, after the
that's
cut.
true.
Put it in your cooler, eat it, while the
yeah.
other one's being held, and you're trying it. So if you're hungry and trying this new method, you'd be able to still snack on some brisket and see what happens with it.
And with the second grate, next level grate up above, I've actually done 3 whole briskets.
Have you really?
On the XL. So
I wish I bought that one that you were selling.
So it was man, I tell you, it's you can fit a lot of food on them, no doubt about it. But still, I mean, just as a smoker, with everything you can do, low and slow, the grilling, the baking, I mean, just everything. They're just awesome grills, no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, I can hold it at 150 for 24 hours, or I can bring it up to 750 and cook a pizza on it, like a wood fire stove.
Yeah,
I mean, not quite as hot as a wood fire stove, but still pretty hot.
Yeah, well, I mean, I know folks that have gotten them things over 1,000 degrees.
I have done that too. I don't recommend doing it for cooking. I mean, you might I don't know. You might burn your table up.
Yeah,
you might.
Right.
I don't know. Be careful.
Yeah, things happen.
There's things you could damage at over 1,000 degrees.
That's
if you
absolutely
let it sit
true.
there, so.
Absolutely true. Yeah, man. I mean, that's I've heard folks talk about going out and looking at their little needle temperature gauge on the dome of the egg, and it says it's at 250, and they're like, "There's no way," because that thing is just so hot. And what's happened is that needle has wrapped all the way around and come back. It's starting to go around a second time. And it's just, it's hot. It's hot. And that's, you don't want that. You don't,
I mean, even a lot of guys clean burn where they'll just let it go.
Yeah.
Whatever. And I've done that. And, I don't, you could get pretty much the same results. Just bring it to 700 and let it sit there for 45 minutes or something.
Yeah.
I mean,
and not even that hot. Even, I mean, 600 is
sure. That'll burn everything off. I mean,
Absolutely.
your oven goes up to 500 tops, and that has a self-clean function. That's going to burn everything off.
That's
so,
right.
I mean,
That's right.
Your egg will do it too. I mean,
Sure. Yeah, which is great.
Yeah.
Man, Vince, I tell you, you've learned something. I've learned something on this podcast. I hope others have as well. And if you got questions, I hope you'll shoot us an email. blindgrilling@gmail.com is the email address. And
I want to hear about briskets that people are making. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, whether it's even pellet grill, other vertical smokers. You got something else you guys are doing. You got some cooks you're doing. Let us know about it. I know we didn't get into any seasoning or anything like that. I just really wanted to talk about the Flame Boss. They've been so good to us and so kind to us, and they help us out with packages and some partial packages that we've been able to provide to other people, other folks who are blind or visually impaired. And really just wanted to talk about that, what that product and what they've got. And of course, you can't help but talk about the egg. And of course, you're using the Kickash Basket, as I am, to manage your charcoal as well. And, all of that working together is just the ultimate in cooking outside. So it's all cool and it's all great. So, but yeah, man. If you're interested in learning more about any of the things that we talk about, again, you can shoot us an email, blindgrilling@gmail.com, and let us know. And we love hearing from you guys, and just give us some feedback on the podcast. That's always great as well. Vince, man, thanks for coming on again. I really do appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure, Chris. I'm always glad to be here.
Absolutely, man. All right, folks. Be sure and check out kickashbasket.com. Check out Lane's Barbecue as well at lanesbarbecue.com for all kinds of awesome rubs and sauces. Man, we've been using some Cosmo products here lately. That's been awesome. Of course, go to flameboss.com. Not only do they have the fan controller for grills, but they've just got a thermometer, Wi-Fi thermometer, that you can set next to your grill and monitor several different cuts of meat as well for like $70. It's awesome. All right, folks. Thanks again. Remember, if you're looking, you ain't cooking.
'Cause if you're looking, you ain't cooking. Fire up the barbecue. Fire up the barbecue.